Hello and welcome to Vegan Cafe 21. Today we are making a royal Pittor Curry. This is a two-part recipe. First we are going to prepare the cubes and then the sauce in which the cubes go. So let's get started. To make Pittor we are going to use 1 cup of gram flour, half a teaspoon of Carom seeds, 3/4 of a teaspoon of pink salt. You can adjust salt to your taste. Half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. Here we have 1 teaspoon of red chili powder. This is a very mild variety. It's more for color and less for heat. We are going to sift our gram flour and then use 2 cups of water to prepare a very flowing consistency batter. This is a very important step, so do not skip it. This will ensure that we have our lump-free batter. Now to this flour, we are going to add all of our seasonings. Incorporate them into our gram flour. And now adding little water at a time, we are going to start creating our batter. It is important to add a little water at a time to ensure we start out with a lump-free batter. We're off to a good start. Now we start adding water to thin it out. Our batter with flowing runny consistency is now ready. Over on the stove top, I have placed this skillet. To the skillet, we are going to add our batter. Now it's very important to keep stirring this batter. It'll only take about 4 to 5 minutes for us to get it to the consistency that we need. You want to keep your heat between medium and high. You may have to keep adjusting it. If it's too hot, bring it closer to medium. If the bubble dies down, you may have to bump it up closer to high. While this is coming to a bubble, I'm going to get a plate and keep it ready, because we are going to set this batter on this plate. It's getting there. If you see any lumps forming, you can use the back of your spoon to sort of smooth it out. I feel like non-stick works best for this dish because it makes cleanup a breeze. All right, so this is about as far as we need to go with this. As you can see, it's leaving the bottom of the skillet. So now we are going to turn the heat off. We'll transfer it onto this plate. You need a large plate. If you don't have a large plate, then you can use 2 small ones to get the right thickness. Get as much of it as you can get off, but don't worry too much because we are going to clean the skillet with the water and use all the goodness that's sticking onto it. So we're going to just spread it out like this. Now we are going to let it sit for about 10 minutes and then come back and cut it into pieces. Now while our batter is setting in this plate, let's bring a cup of water into the skillet where we prepared our batter and get all of this goodness scraped off into this water. We are not going to throw any of this. We will save it in the cup and use it to prepare our sauce. We are going to pour all of it into this cup and set it aside. It has been about 10 minutes since we placed our batter on this plate to set, and it has set beautifully. So now let's go ahead and cut it into pieces. Feel free to cut the pieces as big or small as you like. Let me show you how beautifully they set. See this? They will not stick to your plate, and they are super soft, just perfect. The secret to perfect texture is the proportion of water and gram flour. You want to make sure you don't add too much or too little water. In this recipe, we are using 2 cups of water for 1 cup of gram flour. Whisk it nicely, get a nice flowing batter, and remember to not add any water. Once you pour your batter into the pot in which you're going to cook it, you'll have perfect texture every time. Now we are ready to shallow fry these. You can deep fry them if you like. You can even put them in your oven and get them toasted golden brown on all sides. It's your choice. Today we are going to shallow fry these. Add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil or cooking oil of your choice to the bottom of your pot. Once the oil heats up, we are going to place our pieces that we just cut in the oil. All right, look at the beautiful color. So we are ready to remove them onto our plate and get the second batch in. I'm going to walk you through the ingredients we're going to need to prepare our sauce. Typically it's made with yogurt, but since we are making a vegan version of it, we will use cashews. In this bowl, I have half a cup of cashews soaking in a cup of water, 3 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. For seasoning, I have 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 2 pinches of Asafoetida, 1 small onion finely chopped, 1 green chili that I have finely diced as well. Here I have 1 heaping tablespoon of grated ginger, a teaspoon and a half of coriander powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of turmeric powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of red chili powder. This is a mild variety, more for color, less for heat. I'm going to add about a teaspoon and a half of pink salt, but you can adjust salt to your taste and liking. In this cup, I have 1 tablespoon of dried fenugreek leaves. We are going to saute our onions and spices in olive oil. 2 to 3 tablespoons. Now to this hot oil, we are going to add our cumin seeds. Once they turn lightly golden brown, we bring in our Asafoetida, give that a stir, and very quickly we invite our onions to this skillet. Now while our onions are sauteing, we are going to drain these cashews that have been soaking in this water and bring them into our blender jar. Now remember this liquid that we got from cleaning our skillet with all the scraps of the gram flour batter? We are going to add that to our drained cashews into this blender. To this, we'll also add our 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Add another cup of water. And now we are ready to blend this into a smooth paste. Our blended cashew is ready, and our onions are ready for us as well. We just want them to be lightly golden brown. So now we add our spices to this. Turn the heat to low at this point because you don't want your spices to burn. Saute it for a few seconds. You want to cook out the smell of turmeric. So now to this, we add our blended cashews. Now you can bump your heat up to bring it to a quick simmer. You want to keep stirring it. Let's go ahead and add our dried fenugreek leaves. Place them on the palm of your hand and crush them with the tips of your fingers. They bring a depth of flavor to any dish you add them to. You can see as it comes to a boil, it continues to thicken. You want to continue to stir the sauce to avoid any splitting. This ensures that we have a smooth consistency. Once it comes to a bubble, we are going to add our salt. Now we are going to turn the heat down and add another cup of water to our sauce. Give it a stir. Now we are ready to add our cubes. I'll show you the texture of one of them. See how soft it is? We're going to let our sauce simmer and bubble for just a couple more minutes, and our creamy Pittor Curry is ready. Add some chopped cilantro leaves. Now the longer this dish sits, thicker it gets. If you prepare it, let's say a few hours in advance, and it gets thicker, you feel free to bring in some hot water and add to it, just as much as you need to get the right consistency. Now we are ready to plate it. There you have it, a vegan version of Pittor Curry. Enjoy it with naan, roti, puri, paratha, any bread of your choice, or grain, rice, quinoa, millet, what have you. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please do give it a try. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon with vegan versions of our traditional favorites.